Get the gavel up here. Good morning, everybody in person and on Zoom. It is 7 a.m. And our inspiration this morning is by Mary Cavanero. Mary, would you like to come up and give us Yeah, let's give a round of applause for Mary. Yep.
The holiday season is a perfect time to reflect on your blessings and seek ways to make life better around us. Terry Marshall.
Thank you, Mary. Now we stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, and hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas and holidays with loved ones. I sure did. The nieces were a rambunctious bunch. Of all the screaming, I thought my eardrums were gonna explode, but no, it was a good time. Mom made homemade lasagna for Christmas dinner, so it was delicious. I ate about 2 platefuls of lasagna, and boy, was I full. I would like to welcome back our guest. Marshall is on Zoom, so we'd like to welcome back Marshall.
Hello, I'm Marshall.
Good morning, Marshall. Welcome back. Good to have you. And I would like to turn things over to our Toastmaster, Beth Banks.
We're probably going to be doing a lot of this with the microphone today. Sorry about that. Traditionally, for many of us, this time of the year means we celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, or Kwanzaa. This morning, we'll talk a little about those celebrations, but also other winter holidays that people around the world celebrate you may not be as aware of. First of all, thank you, Len and Mark, for taking care of our technology. We appreciate that all the time. Diwali is the most significant holiday in India. The festival celebrates the triumph of light over darkness. Diwali is typically celebrated by dressing in colorful, traditional clothing. I do not have Indian clothing, so this is as colorful. There we go. Lighting the inside and outside of homes with rows of lamps or other lights and fireworks. There are also worship services, a gift exchange, and a large traditional feast, including many sweet treats. Diwali customs include Rangoli, the traditional Indian art of using colorful sand, rice, or other material to make intricate designs on the floor. Designs are passed down through generations, so it's common for families to create art with a pattern specific to them. Designs are thought to bring good luck. Our Wagmaster today is David Jones online. David, would you like to tell us about your job?
Yes, thank you, Madam Toastmaster. This morning, I will be listening for good uses of words, such as Eric said, rambunctious bunch. That was a fun word. I'll also be listening for our filler words, such as so, and you know. And finally, the word of the day should be fairly easy with today's theme, and it is celebrate or celebration. It is, and I like the definition in the dictionary. It's to mark something such as a holiday by a festivity or other deviations from the routine. That was cool. For instance, my family gathered to celebrate Christmas. So try to use the word celebrate or celebration. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, David. And our quote master for today is Nancy.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Hello, Toastmasters. Every day is a celebration. It does not have to be a holiday in any part of the world. I'm just going to read a quote about life. You are the mountain, you are the rock, You are the cord and you are the spark. You are the eagle and you are the lark. You are the world and you're remarkable. You're the ocean eating the shore and you are the calm inside the storm. You're every emotion. You are every emotion you can endure. You are the world and the world is yours. The world as I see it. And this is from Jason M-R-A-Z, Mraz. He's a singer, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you. And I don't see Mike Florio, but Eric has a jest ready for us. So come on back up, Eric.
Thank you. As we're celebrating the holidays, why not have some jokes, right? How do you wash your hands over the holidays? With sanitizer. Sanitizer. Oh, yeah. What's another one? Why don't you ever see Santa in a hospital? Because he has private elf care. Why is Santa afraid of getting stuck in a chimney? He got it. Yep, he got it. He has claustrophobia. Why does Santa have 3 gardens? Steve got it. And I got one more before I killed the crowd again. What does Santa do when his elves misbehave? Oh, that's a good one, but nope. He gives them the sack. Ma'am Toastmaster.
Thank you, Eric. And our next job would be our timer. Sylvia, you are online?
Morning, yes, I am. I'll be timing table topics and speeches and the evaluators. Please correct me if I don't have the right time. So table topics, 1.5 to 2 minutes with a 15-second buffer. Speakers 5 to 7, otherwise towed differently. 30-second buffer, and evaluators 2 to 3 with a 30-second buffer. If I'm correct. I haven't had a lot of coffee yet, so hopefully I'm correct.
Neither have I. We might be both in trouble here, right?
Okay.
I'm going to switch things up to make sure I do not forget to introduce our general evaluator, Carol Ann.
I just want to mention that I noticed a couple different ways people celebrate their meal. We had turkey, Eric had lasagna. Today's general evaluator, I will be just noting how the meeting runs, and particularly we'll be paying attention to the evaluators and see how they do. Madam Toastmaster. Thank you very much.
The winter solstice marks the exact moment when half of Earth is tilted farthest away from the sun. It usually happens on December 21st or 22nd, at the exact same second around the world. I found that interesting. It marks the shortest day and longest night of the year. Cultures around the world have long held feasts and celebrated holidays around the winter solstice. Wiccans and neo-pagans celebrate the winter solstice through the festival of Yule. Yule celebrates the reemergence of the sun and the days beginning to grow longer again. The festival was first celebrated in Scandinavia as a Norse festival. A common tradition is burning the Yule log. Ancient people built many monuments to celebrate the winter solstice. One example is the Temple of Karnak, a huge complex covering over 200 acres and dedicated to the Egyptian god Amun. It had at its center the inner sanctum of the god's home, which was perfectly aligned with sunset at the summer solstice. Another famous site, most of you know, is Stonehenge in Wiltshire, England, a temple built from the Neolithic period to the Bronze Age that is aligned with the sun's movements. I would like to now introduce our quiz master for the day, Margot, who has graciously agreed to speak with us a little bit about Hanukkah because I'm sure she knows more than I do. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Margot.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. So I don't know how many people saw the article I had in last week's paper, but Hanukkah, like most Jewish holidays, is based on historical events. The basic theme is they tried to kill us. We won. Let's eat. So in this case, it wasn't the Romans or the Greeks or the Crusaders. It was the Syrians who came into what was then Palestine to try to eliminate the Jewish people, force everyone to convert to their religion, their educational style, everything else. And for 3 years, we fought a war, fighting back until everyone in the country could have religious freedom. So it's really more like American Independence Day than anything else. Yes, there's the miracle of the oil, but that, quite frankly, came later. In any case, today I am your quiz master. So I will be coming up with 3 to 5 questions. I like to keep it short, as you all know. And hopefully you will be listening carefully and be able to answer whatever I come up with at the end of the day, most likely speaking about the many celebrations that we're hearing about. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Margot. I would like to now introduce our table topics master, Steve Smith.
Yep,
Thank you.
kind of caught me by surprise there. I wasn't expecting to get up this quick, but okay, let's get right to it. I was looking over the list of who's here, who has a job, and guess what? I found 3 people that don't. So she's talking about holidays. Nice, beautiful, broad topic, gives me a lot to work with. So my favorite holiday, as most people know, is Halloween. So that seemed like a good question. So I'll ask Marty, what is your favorite holiday?
Thank you, Mr. Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. My favorite holiday, one that I like to celebrate, is Christmas. I just had the opportunity to walk 2 doors down from where I live to celebrate Christmas at my brother's house. And it was a wonderful occasion. As someone else mentioned earlier in the meeting, there were a lot of little children at their festival. I think Eric mentioned that. And I definitely had the same. I had a half a dozen nieces and nephews ranging from 1.5 to 10 or 11 years old. And they were all wrestling on the floor in a square space, smaller than probably where Mary Elizabeth is sitting over there. And that was right by the front door where everyone was coming in the house. But the commotion and the joy all made Christmas a wonderful, wonderful event this year. As some of you know, I lost my mother 2 years ago, my father 2 years before that. So it was a wonderful celebration of my family getting together. And we had Christmas this year on Tuesday instead of Monday. And the reason we did that and celebrated Christmas on Tuesday is because my siblings all live in Rochester or further out. And by the time they got done visiting with their family on a regular Christmas day, and then drive to Lockport, it would probably be 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So we had a nice celebration on Tuesday. My brother made prime rib. Oh my gosh, it was delicious. And even though we didn't eat until 7 o'clock at night, it was definitely delicious. The prime rib was about this thick, and he cooked 2 slabs of it were probably about this big. And they were definitely delicious, and it was well worth waiting till 7 o'clock to eat. Mr. Topics Master, back to you. That's my favorite celebration.
Thank you. She also mentioned not only holidays, but traditions. This brings me another interesting question. And I think I saw Phil Russell online out there. Phil?
Yes.
Tell me, do you have any favorite traditions that you like to do now that we're by the holidays and Christmas and all that hubbub? Phil Russell.
I like the idea of celebrating better. That's my favorite. St. Patrick's Day is quite the celebration for every year. Now, the other ones like Christmas, it's like rush, rush, rush from before Thanksgiving right up until the day. And finally, you can sit down and relax. And all of a sudden, you figure out, oh, what did I forget? That's not a celebration. A celebration is St. Patrick's Day. Go down, you have mass, you march to the canal, then you go drinking. What else is there to do in life? Just a wonderful day. No planning, nothing there, just celebrate. That's what I. However, I do indulge on Christmas Eve. I do indulge on New Year's Eve, which is coming up, by the way. That's one that you don't have to plan too much either. That's what I like. Not too much planning. Now, one of the big things I have to celebrate this year is New Year's Eve, because that's also an anniversary of mine with Christina. And so I have to go out quietly, get some wood because it's number 5. Wood is number 5. So I'm not going to plan that much, but we are talking about where we would like to go for dinner, and I have to find some wood. It's a good thing I can find some wood someplace. I got to go to some of these specialty shops to find some wood. Now, I like to celebrate. It is a wonderful thing. And this new year, I plan to do as much celebration as possible. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Phil. Say, if you're looking for wood, I have quite a bit of firewood over there. That helps you. I'll let you borrow my chainsaw and let you cut your own. I'd pay to see that. Okay, finally, I noticed Jackie Kenny doesn't have a job. So I would like to ask her to take her choice. Can you talk about your favorite holiday, a tradition you like, what you like to do for New Year's Eve? It's a free throw.
All right, thank you. Thank you, and good morning, Toasties. I love to celebrate the holidays, all the holidays. I like summer holidays when parades go past my house and we can cook hot dogs and hang out in the backyard. And I love Thanksgiving. That was always Kevin's favorite holiday. He loved the dinner, and his birthday was November 26th, so it was often a double celebration. It was also his mom's birthday, and she loved the fact that they shared that. I think, though, Christmas is probably my favorite because I get to have everyone together under one roof. And that's always special because my kids are grown up and don't all live at home anymore. So I like it a lot when everybody's in the house, even though they drive me crazy sometimes. And the noise gets to me after a while. And I kind of like it when they leave and it's quiet again. But I just think there's nothing like having all of your family under one roof and sharing food and drink and enjoying everything that you can do together. So I'm going to have to vote for Christmas as the best holiday of the year. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Can I get a timer's report?
You can. Everyone qualified this morning. Marty at 2:06, Phil at 2:07, and Jackie at 1.36.
Okay, can I get a report from our Wagmaster? Did they all use the word of the day?
Yes, Mr. Table Topics Master, they did. We had Jackie use it twice, Marty used it 4 times, and Phil came in at 7 times. Back to you.
Ooh. Thank you. So you can vote for Marty, Phil, or Jackie, and I'll turn the meeting back over to Beth.
And I would like to now introduce Jill to introduce speaker number 1, Dave Licata. Jill, are you ready? Thank you.
I'm ready when I get up here. I'm evaluating our most illustrious speaker, Dave Licata. Am I going to get word of the day? One of the words, yeah. Dave is writing a speech with purpose. He is trying to share my experiences with those who wish to have some fun and a bit of money. His purpose is to learn or review basic methods for writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. I'm sure he can do this. We'll have to see how he does completely here now. So, Dave Licata, his title is Extra Extra.
Ready lights, ready sound, cameraman ready? Background action, action. Now you've all seen the cliches in movies about ready lights, ready sound, ready camera, and action. What you're not familiar with is the phrase background action. Background action is the signal for the extras to get moving and do what they were instructed to do. I first heard this phrase a very long time ago when I was trying to be in the natural. And I learned a lot that day because I know you'll find this very difficult to believe, but I was trying to ham up my part a little bit. And they didn't take too kindly to that. And the assistant director who was in charge of extras came over and said, "Sir, could you just sit here and don't move?" So I didn't make the natural. And that kind of left a hole in my resume because I always wanted to be an extra and I definitely always wanted to be in a movie. So then I found out that Buffalo was going to be the Hollywood of the East. We're going to get 3 sound stages. I believe we have them now. We have people making movies that love our people, the way we cooperate, are mad about our architecture. And the bonus is this is the only place in the East where you can shoot a setting sun. It's over Lake Erie, but we can pretend it's the Pacific.
So we come in real handy. In conjunction with all this activity, these sound stages, a company formed called Casting Buffalo. I said, well, what do I have to do to get into Casting Buffalo? Well, I have to provide them with headshots, a theatrical resume, and back then, 3 years ago, proof of immunization that I got my shots and all that jazz. So I waited and I got my first call and I had to go to Jamestown to the Comedy Museum because they were going to film this giant celebration of the Comedy Hall of Fame. And I swear there was between 125 and 150 extras. But these people were from the East Coast, the West Coast, far West Coast, Californians. And it went something like this. Back then, this was during the days of the Black Plague there. All right, we want you to make a lot. We're going to introduce Robin Williams, and we're going to pretend that he's here and he's going into the Hall of Fame. So we need you to cheer loudly. First time. Oh, no, please. That was pretty good. Could you be louder? Could you be louder? And on and on. We got louder and louder. And we're spitting all over each other as we shouted, 125 people. And they go, cut. And right after they said cut, they said, put on your mask. So we've been standing here in the shower of our own spit for 15 minutes, and now you want us to put on our mask. I enjoyed that. But anyways, that paid. That was $175 a day. They said, watch your email. We might need you again tomorrow. But I was not leaving Jamestown at 6:30 p.m. to show up at 8 a.m. the next morning, so I wandered across the street to the motel and got a room, which dinged my $350 profit by $125. But that's okay. I had fun. Met a lot of like-minded people that were as goofy as I am. That was a bonus. So that was my first adventure. And besides that, just a little sidebar. We sat in the banquet room of the skating rink. Their skating rink has a banquet room. It's right across the street from the Comedy Museum. The Snickers, the M&Ms, the Three Musketeers never stopped. The Pepsi, the team, beverages all day, coffee, water. Now it's time for lunch. And then it was time for dinner. So not only do we get paid, we got to socialize and sit around until they needed us. So that was pretty good. Now, I went a whole year before I got called again. So the following April, because we live near that little snow globe village down there in East Aurora, and they just love to come here and make Christmas movies, I heard again from Casting Buffalo. And I was notified that I was to show up at Ilya Paul's restaurant at 7 a.m. in Blaisdell, Blaisdell. And I had to pretend to eat forever. And I want you all to race home from this meeting because you can catch the last showing at noon today of A Royal Christmas Holiday on the Family Channel, who's chasing Hallmark. Imagine somebody wants to chase Hallmark. So that led to actually 3 additions. The goal is to get a speaking part, and that has not been fulfilled yet. I've auditioned 3 times at home and made a little videotape, attached it to an email and sent it in. The 3rd time was a charm. I got an email that said, looking forward to working with you. You got the part, Eddie Murphy. But it's not that Eddie Murphy, no. This Eddie Murphy is the Orson Welles of Middleport, New York. This young man wrote this story, produced this story, directed this story. And he shot for 3 days, and he needed me for 4 of them. My character actually has a name this time. And this is just something that a student would do. This is a half-hour, my guess this will be a half-hour episode of a program that he put together. It's going to be very Twilight Zone-y with the Rip Van Winkle theme. And I'm a combination of Obi-Wan Kenobi, Jiminy Cricket, and that goofy mouse that helps out Dumbo. But it was a real reach for me. This part was a real reach for me. I had to play an old cranky guy. I had to play an old cranky guy named Carmen. I'll be letting you know when that's available, probably on YouTube. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dave. Now it gives me pleasure to introduce the next evaluator, Gerald, who will introduce Kate.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Celebrate each other. That's the way to do things for sure. Dave, as an aside, my wife is in the natural as an extra. Where's he at? There he is. Yeah, I think that could definitely have something to do with it. She was very mild-mannered until she got in the crowd in the stadium, and apparently she had to be raucous. To Kate's speech, Kate today is speaking from the Dynamic Leadership, High Performance Leadership L5 elective. Her time is 5 to 7 minutes, Madam Timer. The purpose of her speech is to introduce a plan and a vision for this plan. She can do it any way she wants, but she has to deliver it well thought out. And the title is Contest Season 2024. Please welcome Kate.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to see everyone. I think I'll go like this and turn it at an angle. We're going to play with this. Am I allowed to do this? Am I messing up the system? Bravo. Now you on Zoom can see my face. Good morning, everyone. Like Dr. Stevens just said, this is the vision, the plan for a high performance leadership project, level 5. A few months ago, I also introduced a high performance leadership project, level 5, about TIC education. That's on the back burner, but it's still in progress. I have a couple people from other Toastmasters clubs on my guidance committee for that. That is in the persuasive influence path. This is in the dynamic leadership path. I'm a DL4 and a PI4, and I'm kind of stuck. And now are the big projects. And so now I'm tackling those. A lot of you have run HPLs without knowing it by being a contest master, by being Toastmaster repeatedly, a lot of things. Even Len could definitely count his Zoom mastering, and Mark, the Zoom online, as an HPL. When you get there, think of that. Contest season is upon us. I did announce the dates last week for you to save the date. I have a sign-up form I'm going to pass around. 2 important dates to remember. This is a clipboard for those of us in person. For those of you online, feel free to chat to Len and he can let me know or reach out to me directly once you decide what to do. Eric, can I ask you to get this and start passing it around? The critical roles for both dates are on that clipboard, so take your time with that. I'll collect it at the end of the meeting. I'd love for you to sign up and join my team. By being on my guidance committee, you are being a chief judge, perhaps. You are being a target speaker or just giving guidance. The first page shows the first date at the club level. The club contest is just 3 short weeks away on January 18th. I left all of the roles open. I am happy to serve any roles, but for our club contest, many of you have served in those roles, and I'd love for you to step up again. The contest themes were voted on in the summertime, this past summer, and the international contest is always the highlight, the feature, and the other is the evaluation contest this year. As an international speaker contestant, you have to be a dues paying member and you qualify as long as you're enrolled in Pathways. So you have to start getting on Pathways and then you qualify as an international contestant. And the rules are the same as they've been for a while. I did announce last week how this is for the first time in a while in person as we move on to the next levels. It was a 55%, 45% vote to be in person. So it was close, considering there are a lot of club leaders who are Zoom only or hybrid, and that constrains some of their participation, especially if they're far away, like David Jones, who I would love to see as a contestant. It won't be happening this season necessarily. I would love to see David Jones on our contest and participate. Anybody online still can participate at our club level because the January 18th meeting is hybrid and you could be some other role, perhaps a timer, for example, because you could be a Zoom timer and still be participating. Once we move to the area level, it's combined. Again, this year, areas 11 and 13 are combined, and they will be on February 3rd, Saturday, February 3rd. The main roles are already filled. I will be the chief judge, so I am definitely looking for the roll holders of our evaluation team, the judges, the ballot counters, the timers, the contest master. I'm the area 11 director for anyone who hadn't heard. The area 13 director, more South Buffalo, is Linda Marie Brown, and she is the contest master. We found the Amherst Library in Gettsville, and that is booked for us. And our MC of the day, Toastmaster of the day, will be a name that many of you recognize, DTM Glenn Gordon. Glenn Gordon is out of the Buff State Club, and that's in Area 13. So he'll be running the meeting and introducing the speakers and interviewing the contestants. That's Glenn's job that day. And then again, I'll be the chief judge, so I need an evaluation team. We also need a target speaker. What that means is one person will come up and give a speech, and the evaluation contestants will all evaluate that same speech. So for anyone who has forgotten what that is because we haven't done it in a while, or you're new and did not know, that's a target speaker, a 5 to 7 minute speech who we need here at this club level. And then we do need one again at the area contest. I recommend that be a DTM who is in our club or another club to be our target speaker. And if you are not yet a DTM, I would love for you to compete. Of course, I want my DTMs to also compete. I definitely want you to. But if you could be the supporting roles and show the newer Toastmasters how it's done, then the newer Toastmasters can really show off their skills, because this is a celebration, an annual celebration of what Toastmastering is all about. If you do have any questions, you do know how to reach me. I really am very excited to be coordinating this contest season. The way it works, again, for anybody new, we're in a club. Our club is in Area 11. We're in the area with Amherst and UB and a Rochester Zoom only club. That's our Area 11. So we'll probably be able to send 2 contestants because our area is smaller once we have winners. So don't think you just have to be the top necessarily. Then the area contest is that Saturday, February 3rd, nearby in Gettsville, near the town hall and the police station in Amherst. And then after the area contest, so Avis Brody is our program quality director this year. She has all the club contests in January. Many districts do this, but our district fell away from this in past years. All the club contests are in January. All of the area contests will be in February. The next level is division, and those will all be in March. And then we are District 65, and our contest is the April 27th, which is the Saturday in Rochester, in person only, as well as the division in person only and area in person only. But join us on hybrid for January 18th and sign up with me ASAP. Thank you all very, very much. Thank you, Kate. I'm glad you moved it sideways because I always feel like, yes, no one can see me on Zoom. That makes it difficult. So I appreciate that. More sideways. Okay. Yes. Now it gives me pleasure to invite Eric back up here. He will be evaluating our speaker, Tracy Farrell, who is online. So welcome, Eric.
Again. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our final speaker of today's meeting, Tracy Farrell. Tracy will be speaking from the Persuasive Influence portion of Pathways Level 2, Intro to Toastmaster Mentoring. And her purpose of this speech is, the project is her to clearly define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring. And the purpose for this speech is for the member to share some aspects of a previous experience as a protege. Ma'am Timer, her time is 5 to 7 minutes. And I would like to introduce to you, Tracy Farrell, How I Met Bill. Tracy Farrell.
Fellow Toastmasters, isn't it crazy how our life takes twists and turns? I have to tell you, my first job in high school was working for Montgomery Wards in the clothing department, in the shoe department. That was a job that I loved. My supervisor's name was Sylvia. She was tall, dark hair, dressed beautifully. The women's department was the most meticulous maintained department in the entire store. And she really inspired me. This was something I wanted to be. So, of course, I decided I was going to college for retail marketing. And that's when my dad said, Tracy, are you crazy? Retail will never pay enough to pay back your student loans. And then there's my mom in the background saying, Tracy, do what you love. And that's what I did. So to make a long story short, my dad was right. There's no money in retail. The hours are long and I could barely pay the rent. So what did I do? To help support my income, I went into the family business and I got my appraisal license. Now you got to remember, at the time, I hated real estate. That was the thing that disturbed everything. It was a topic of family dinners. Whenever we're on family vacations, oh, we just have to take a small little detour and drive by this property. My dad would be dropping me off at one of my friends' houses, like, okay, we're going to take the long way to look at this house. It was such a pain, and I really despised it. But time went on, and eventually I got a job at Niagara County Real Property. And that's when I met Bill. He was the director of there. And he was really a legend in his own time. He had been there since the 70s. And he was really thought well of throughout the entire state because of his leadership and direction in real property. And I got to tell you, he was tough. The first day of work, he sat me at my desk all by myself, threw a stack of papers on my desk and said, figure out this problem. Next day he left and he was gone for a week on a conference. So all week I pulled out my hair trying to figure this out. And I don't know if I actually ever did or not. But when he came back, he must have been somewhat impressed because I got to keep my job after that. And then eventually he kind of took me under my wing and introduced me to a love of real estate and even the challenges of it. But what really made him a great mentor was he was experienced and knowledgeable. Like I said, he'd been there since the 70s when real property was established by New York State, the Office of Real Property. He was an accountant, so he helped establish Niagara County's tax system and how they were calculated.
And he was able to, he's gone through every possible mistake and was kind of able to guide me through the pitfalls of it. Number two, he was positive and supportive. As you guys know me, I'm very timid, and starting something new, that's not something I wanted to take the reins of. But one day he actually set me aside and said, Trace, just do it. You got to know this is my office. And if you make a mistake, I'm going to take the blame for it. Now, some people might think, oh, that's intimidating. But to me, that was the green light that said, okay, he has my back. So I can go ahead and make those mistakes and he'll help me through it. And third, he was committed and dependable. Eventually, he got to the point where we would have these meetings every Monday afternoon. And did I tell you he was tough? They were the most grueling 2 to 3 hour meetings where he'd sit me down, go over every last detail of all the projects I did the week, and he would make me justify every single thing that I did. In fact, the girls at the front desk would be laughing at me because I'd be lugging in books after books just to justify and prove this is why I did it, and so forth. But sometimes those meetings kind of came out to be enjoyable because I was able to throw something back at him and challenge him. Those were short-lived though, because at the end of every single meeting, he would give me 2 to 3 weeks worth of work, and I would have to come back next week and justify it within the week. This went on week after week and year after year. But eventually, I became a lot more prepared, and I really gleaned a lot of information that I've been using even today. Bill's long left the county. I've left the county and I'm working for the city, but I'm always going to retain some of those things that he's taught me. And kind of like Rosalind Carter said, a leader takes people where they want to go, but a great leader will take somebody where they don't want to go, but maybe they should be. And that's how I met Bill. Fellow Toastmasters.
Thank you for tightening it, Lynn. I was a little worried it was a little loose there. Thank you very much, Tracy. Can I call for the timers report, Sylvia?
Yes, you may. David at 7.16, Kate at 7.20, Tracy at 5.47, all three qualify.
Thank you very much. If you would vote for your favorite speaker today, online or in person, I would appreciate it. As the evaluators take time to write their evaluations, we'll look at other holidays around the world. The Japanese New Year, known as Omasoka, I'm sure I pronounced that wrong, is celebrated on the last day of the year in Japan. The holiday is focused around purification and a fresh start for the year ahead. So it's typically celebrated by cleaning the home and repaying debts before relaxing with friends and family in the last hours of the year. Then at 11 p.m., many gather to have one last meal of toshinosha soba, which are noodles that I'm sure pronounced incorrectly. This stems from the belief that eating long noodles will give you a long life and help cross from one year to the next. It's also a spiritual time, with many Japanese people visiting Shinto shrines at midnight. Kwanzaa was created in the United States in 1966 by Black nationalist Maulana Karenga to unite and empower Black Americans in light of the Watts Rebellion, and is primarily celebrated in the US and the Caribbean. The holiday is modeled after traditional African harvest festivals. Though its practices have roots in Southern African culture, Kwanzaa is a celebration of diasporic African family, community, and culture, especially those of Black Americans. Karenga laid out 7 key principles for Kwanzaa: unity, self-determination, collective responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. Families observe the passing of each day by lighting a candle on the Kinara, a special candle holder made to hold 7 long candles. 3 of the candles are red, representing the struggle. 3 are green, representing land and hope for the future. And 1 of the candles is black, representing people of African heritage. On the 6th day of Kwanzaa, families celebrate with a large feast known as Karamu ya Imani. Do you see a pattern here? It appears that every festival also has some kind of large feast. We all like to eat everywhere we are in the world and whatever festival we are celebrating. I would like to now call for the evaluator reports. Jill, are you ready?
Fellow Toastmasters and especially Dave. Extra, extra. Of course, I think we probably all finished that off with read all about it. This definitely wasn't about reading, except for maybe reading the lines. His purpose, Dave definitely shared his experiences. A lot of fun with his failures and his successes. I think we can all see him being a little bit too rambunctious, trying to get into the natural. Oh, well. He excelled in his voice variations. That's not a surprise. He had colorful language. But then he was gripping the lectern. Dave, you're an experienced speaker. Hopefully you don't need it for balance, like I do sometimes. You could create a lot more hand gestures and stuff that would stop you from gripping the lectern. You can't grip it if you're busy doing things. You also might want to work on your transitions. There was quite a few ands and stretching things out in between between sessions of your speech. But overall, it was very good. You told us how to find your current projects. We probably aren't all going to run home today and watch the Family Channel, but it's nice to know that you're there. Should tape it though. It's a little late for us. We aren't going to be home before noon. Sorry about that. But I'm sure somebody here will. Or maybe we can do it on demand. How many Christmas movies have been on demand? Oh no. Wonder what his next adventure will be. I'm sure we'll hear about it. Thank you.
Oh, I might as well just leave this up here for Gerald. He's on his way up. So, thank you.
Proactive Toastmaster. I love it. Now it's all about Kate. Thank you, Kate, for speaking for us today. We appreciate that. Appreciate as an area governor. I also like to recognize Marty as an area governor as well. Governor anymore. That's how old I am. It's a director now. You tell you an old guy when you say governor, like, what are you talking about? I'm sure Mary's wondering that, being a new Toastmaster. What did Kate do for us today? She laid the foundation. Put the bricks together to make the building, to give us structure. That's what that's about. Told us what was going on in the area and with our contests, what the dates were. She asked for volunteers. Very important to do. Hopefully you all will be volunteers. Hopefully you all will be contestants. That's the most important thing we need, I think. Kate's eye contact was good. She's looking around. She didn't need to do any wild gesturing. This is an educational speech, right? She doesn't need to slide across the floor like Marty does sometimes. To like, wow, look at that. Not necessary at all. She had a good pace. She was calm. Early on as a Toastmaster, Kate was rush, 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 rush. She's not that anymore. She's just come a long way. That's awesome. Like to see that. She used the word of the day. Love to see that in speeches if we can. But as an evaluator, I do have to give her some pointers for improvement. She did backtrack a little bit. She was talking about the structure of the different contests. She kind of stopped and then she went back again. I think she would have been closer to her ideal time if she didn't do that. So that's something I would say for improvement, because at the end she rushed her conclusion. But she did have a call for action even at the end. You had multiple calls for action, actually. So I really like that. I love that you included the future dates for the contests. Often I don't hear those. I wonder, like, oh, should I participate? Am I able to theoretically move on? What else did she do? I think that's about it. She broke it all down, what's going to happen and what we're going to do. So sign up, please. Thank you.
I'll move it down a little bit. And now for our last evaluation of the day, Eric Schneider.
Before I begin, Sylvia, don't start yet. I was just gonna say, if we had a remote to move the microphone up and down, I think that would be so much easier than just doing this. Just use a remote, go slightly down like this, and so we can all see. All right, Sylvia, I am ready. Ma'am, Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and especially to Tracy. Tracy, thank you so much for giving us of who Bill is. You had a very structural background from when you were growing up and how you progressed through retail. And I did not know you don't get money in retail. I'm like, hey, if there is money in retail, man, I should have done that instead of cleaning. Anyway, it was very good structural background of how you presented it in the beginning. And also how Bill was a protege and a mentor to you, which was very, very good. Now, what you excelled at, your vocal variety is always on point. Whenever I see and hear you give a speech, Tracy, you have gotten so more, how can I put it in the retrospect, because I'm seeing Jackie giving, like, hope I'm not getting you had very good and much better of your vocal variety, which is very important to do that. I keep looking over at Jackie, make sure I'm in the clear here. You had great eye contact too, which is very important But here's another thing too. Maybe what you should do is put some books on the table, maybe stand up and give a more dramatic speech. Because you were very dramatic, because you really like dig deep into the heart of your speech, which was good. And it was a effective storytelling. And also to challenge yourself too. We all would have loved to see a picture of who Bill was. So give us a more and a sense of who Bill is in picture format. So I think that would have been a great prop for that. But again, what you want to work on is to put some books on the table, maybe do more dramatic speeches, stuff like that, and express yourself more. But I think you did a really wonderful job on your speech. And I can't wait to hear more. Madam Toastmaster.
And moving along to the last holiday, certainly in many people's opinion, not the least, the Chinese New Year. It is also known as Lunar New Year or Spring Festival. It is the most important festival in China and a major event in some other East Asian countries. The festival celebrates the beginning of a new year on the traditional Chinese lunisolar calendar. Chinese New Year 2024 will fall on Saturday, February 10th, the week after that contest, I believe, Kate. The date changes every year, but is always somewhere in the period from January 21st to February 20th. Regional customs and traditions vary widely, but share the same theme: seeing out the old year and welcoming in the luck and prosperity of a new year. The main Chinese New Year activities include putting up decorations, usually red, which denotes prosperity and energy, offering sacrifices to ancestors, eating reunion dinners with family on New Year's Eve. Again, we all eat. We just like to eat a lot. Giving red envelopes and other gifts, firecrackers and fireworks, and watching lion and dragon dances. One of the things I noticed, there's a lot of red throughout many of these different holidays. So that's why I decided to wear red today. I would like to timers report for the evaluators. Thank you. I didn't write that down. That's silly. Sylvia?
Okay, all three of our evaluators qualified. Jill at 2.49, Gerald at 2.43, and Eric at 2.36.
Thank you very much. And if you would like to vote for the evaluators, that would be great. And someone stole my sheet that had the timers. Thanks, Dave. I wanted to make sure I was time, and so I put it up here, and then it left. I'm like, I did. He stole it. Thanks. I know. Am I staying? Let's see. Am I staying within time? I'm pretty good. Okay. Now I would like to introduce Carol Ann to evaluate the meeting and our evaluators. And you can decide if you would like to call for reports. Oh.
Yeah, listening to Dave's speech, I know my oldest daughter got to have a very you could see her for a second if you knew where to look, and also her car in Quiet Place too. But it was very long days, but she said the food was very good too. Now, the meeting went well. The roles were filled as usual. Someone, this time Eric, stood up to take over the jester role. And I know Steve was ready, already had chosen his table topics contestants, was ready with that. And I think we were very good at protecting the lectern this week. And all of our evaluators were very good at using the sandwich approach. Jill, Gerald, and Eric all did that. And the suggestions that they all made to each of the speakers were very relevant and things that all of us Toastmasters, when we listen to that, we can make us better speakers too. Now, if you would like me to call on reports, let me see. How about Dave Jones for the WAG report?
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. I'll start with the word of the day. It did fairly well. Kate got it into her speech, but unfortunately Dave nor Tracy, I heard them, so I apologize if you did use it. But they both had some good words. Dave, we always try to paint pictures with our words, and Dave said spitting all over each other when he was referring to yelling, so that was a great visual. Tracy used the word timid to describe herself, but then she also talked about something being intimidating, so she put them together. Jill didn't use the word of the day, but she did use the word rambunctious. She was the second person to use rambunctious. Eric used it to describe little girls, and Jill used it to describe a seasoned adult male. I guess it could go either way. Overall, everybody was fairly clean. There were a few so's, but nothing too egregious. And finally, Eric did good in the beginning, but when he did his evaluation, he didn't have filler words, but he kind of has a word salad where he says very good and much better. I think that just means good instead of those 4 words. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Let's see. I believe Margot will have some questions for us.
I do. But first, I have one more fun fact about Hanukkah that I forgot to share earlier in my notes here. Hanukkah falls on the same day every year, the 25th of Kislev. It's a lunar calendar. Remember that for a later question. So when Beth talked about Diwali, she used one word repeatedly to describe the costumes, the sand art, the food. Do you remember what that word was? I can't hear if somebody's saying something, so whoever's at the mic has to sort of give me the answers.
Triumph of light.
Light, but she actually said colorful. Everything was colorful, and she talked about not having a colorful dress. What was the first movie Dave mentioned that he wanted to be in?
The Natural.
Natural.
Very good. Okay, Kate, teachers always reinforce. What contests are you going to participate in a few weeks? What are the 2 contests?
International evaluation.
International
Evaluation.
Thank you. Tracy's first job?
Monkey words.
Monkey
Yeah.
ward shoes.
Rewards.
And finally, what is the connection between the Chinese New Year and Hanukkah?
Lunar.
They're both
Yeah.
based on lunar calendars.
Lunar.
Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator.
No, okay. I believe I've covered the jobs.
Thank you. Okay. Let's see, we do our winners before we adjourn the meeting, correct? I thought I did. Slide 11? Yes. There's a reason I'm leaving the lecture. Again, red. My son gave me my first Yeti this year, and I thought, well, I will obviously have to bring it in to do the toast today because red seems to be the theme. So, well, he is an accountant now and he's working in the accounting field again. So that's a good thing. So I would like to propose a toast to everyone and to everyone celebrating different holidays throughout the world. Here. Oh, it's so tall, it won't fit there. Okay, and our winners for today, our best table topic speaker is Marty. Congratulations. Thank you. Yes. And our best evaluator for today is Jill. There's a drawer here?
Yeah, there's a drawer here.
Oh, look at that. Oh, here we go.
And going against Gerald, that was, thank you, everybody.
There we go. Thanks. And the best speaker for today is Tracy online. There we go. And because Tracy cannot come up and pick our 50-50 winner for today, we'll have Kate's going to. Okay, and the winning number, the last three numbers is 962. 962. Okay, thank you, Marty. He's going to donate the money back to the club. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming, participating online. And Marshall, are you there still?
Hello.
So did you enjoy the meeting today?
Yeah, I enjoy and that's amazing. You know Chinese New Year a lot. You know every day what we do. Thank you. And my favorite day is Christmas, I think, because in city Christmas very popular. In Spring Festival, most of people go back to rural area, so the city become empty city.
Wow.
So we like Christmas most. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I have a question for you, Marshall. We've been told this, but maybe you can help us out. For Christmas, what is your traditional meal, dinner that you would have? What would you eat?
Oh, now Christmas in China mainland were forbidden, especially in school and public bureaus. Nobody can mention Christmas. It's take like a religion festival. So, but this Christmas Eve, I went to Hong Kong to find my friend. we ate some Christmas meal. But Chinese people don't like turkey. It's so hard. We eat anything we like in Christmas, and no special food for Christmas. Thank you.
Well, I think we need to teach you how to make turkey so it's not hard, because we don't like hard turkey either. And this year, my family did not do turkey. We did an Asian dinner. So we had all kinds of food from, we had food from India, we had food from China, we had food from Burma, Philippines, Taiwan. So we ate a lot of food. We ate a lot of food, but we enjoyed it. David? Will. When you're in Toronto, then you'll only be about 40 minutes, an hour away from us. So we'll get you to come down. We'll have to make you a not hard turkey. Is that a deal?
Yeah, okay. We breed a lot of turkey, and the Chinese people don't eat it, and all sell to Western countries.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Kate, will you be adjourning the meeting today? I do have an announcement, but I want it to be after this video.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, are there any announcements that should be recorded? Len?
Yes, I have a very important announcement. Don't come here next Thursday. There will not be a hybrid meeting. It will be Zoom only next Thursday. Steve Smith is your Toastmaster. I will be out of town. I can't be in two places at once, so.
All right, so it will be Zoom only. Steve is the Toastmaster. He will get us a theme at some point. Doesn't look like he has decided it yet. Is anyone looking at the schedule to know who our speakers are for next week? I should have looked ahead, and I did not. I did last week. Look ahead, folks. You are on Zoom and you are speaking.
Speakers next week include Gerald Stevens, Marty Johnson, and Nancy Perry.
Surprise, everyone. Have a great new year. And we'll see you next year. Any other announcements? Okay, we can, you want to close the meeting? Not yet. The gavel must be in this mystery drawer that doesn't have a handle, so I didn't know it was here also. Well, this is nice. There's some ribbons. The gavel is in the drawer. I will call this meeting closed.